episode of Pay the Toll Boxing is brought to you by Lend with Tiff, loan officer with Verity Mortgage. Whether you're ready to refinance, renovate, or buy a new home, Lend with Tiff will help guide you through the process. Lend with Tiff offers smart, affordable loan options to help you achieve your goals. With Lend with Tiff as your loan officer, she will be your main contact throughout the mortgage procedure and is someone you need to be comfortable with and confident in. Contact Lend with Tiff and get started today.
Welcome to this episode of Pay the Toll Boxing. I'm Foreman.
I'm Twin.
And we are wrapping up right here. We just finished watching the February 22nd. Obviously, today's day right now is, the card of the Last Crescendo. Overall, great card. No complaints here. I mean, there is a complaint, but, it is what it is, and we just gonna have to deal with that. I give the scorecard for the fights. I give it an A minus for sure for the card as a whole. What do you give it?
I give it an A. The only reason it's not a plus or anything is because if the replacements didn't take place, then it probably would have been an A plus
for sure. But it was still entertaining for the point.
Yeah.
So I'm not mad. The card as a whole was still entertaining. All right. So I guess with that being said, let's get into it. Round one. So Callum Smith, Joshua Buatsi. We both chose Callum Smith to win that fight.
Yep.
There was a separation in skill in that fight that happened very, very quickly from round 1 and 2. Buatsi did find himself fighting back in that fight for sure.
Yep.
But Callum Smith experience, and even with what people were saying, the wear and tear he's been down, the skill just 100%. He just could not keep up with that.
Man, the experience, the jab, the movement, it carried him basically. But Buatsi didn't have too many things in his bag to throw at Callum Smith anyway. So
no, he didn't. Why do you think he couldn't move his head either?
I don't think he used to moving it really. So
does that sound like something at this point he would have to look to at Virgil for his training?
Yep.
Or what does that look like? Because we've seen the same things from Buatsi this whole time. Nothing has changed.
They got to make the change. Somebody have to realize it and call it out, and it has to be worked on. So,
I mean, he's got Andre Ward in California. How do you not take advantage of that?
I don't know.
All right, moving on. We're gonna get to the one downside of this card, and that goes to Hamza Shiraz and Carlos Adames. Things like this that happen is for great cards. What ends up happening is it does not matter how good this heavyweight card, the light heavyweight championship fight was as the main event. What's going to happen is we're still going to remember the fact that Carlos Adames was robbed of a good victory tonight. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. From what you saw, let's get to the positives of Carlos Adames.
He was putting on constant pressure. He was fighting a taller fighter that at first was using his jab to keep separation, and Adames was moving his head a lot, moving his head very well, making him miss. And then by about round 4 or so, the tide turned, and that's when he started actually landing some shots too. And he started wearing him down. And after that, the fight wasn't close.
Right.
Carlos won that fight hands down. So
yeah, same thing. Everything with this last 15, everything that you're saying is Carlos bully punched him as well, hard punches to the arms and all that. He just struck him in the moment. So that's such for Carlos Adames and Hamza Shiraz. So we'll see what's next.
Southern.
So round two, uh, Virgil Ortiz Jr. and Israel Madrimov. We both chose Madrimov to win by decision. It did. Virgil got the decision convincingly, for sure. There was no question. 8-4, 9-3 in my head. Why do you think people are complaining about Madrimov possibly getting a draw in that fight? Is it because of the movement that they think they saw? Is that it has
I
to be
have
that
no clue. I
because
have no clue. I gave. I think how many rounds did you give Madrimov?
I said 9-3, but you can show me 8-4.
And I said 4, and I can't find 5 or 6.
It's
So
not happening. I can't find five. You can do so much movement as you want, and I'm cool with that. But you got if you're gonna give me that much movement, you got to give me that much more offense too, because that movement is so distracting to me that you're not doing the offense, especially when you're still getting punched at. Because you're gonna have to meet that. You're gonna have to meet that aggression right back,
yep,
and to me, he did not meet that back. So because he did not meet that back, it wasn't. It was not a. It wasn't that hard for me to score it for Virgil, and I was choosing Nazimov to win. So,
yep. But good
um,
on Virgil.
great
Look
on the
forward to
Grand
see
Prairie
what's
native.
next. Texas in the house
Great
represent.
on the Grand Prairie native. Not bad. Um, to the fill-in replacement here, Shakur Stevenson versus Josh Padley.
Mhm.
Shakur is back, and he looked like Shakur for sure. It looks like he hurt his left hand. That's why we got him to switch from southpaw to orthodox, which lets us know he actually can fight both ways, in which we did not know about very well. That's pretty interesting.
And I wonder
Um,
where he got that from.
he's been hanging around a couple people that probably can teach him a thing or two after a while. Um, but Shakur did look like he did, and Padley. Kudos to Padley for getting his life changed instantly. Kudos for him accepting the fight, being on weight. I want people to really, really understand that Padley did not have to be in shape. He did not have to be on weight because he does work an everyday job. But they let you know just how hard Padley really does one work and how tough he is in that ring because he displayed it tonight. With Shakur winning the way he wins, I'll give you the last 25 seconds here. What do we do now?
Shout out to Padley though. He came to win. He came to fight. For Shakur, Shakur said after the fight he won't tank. Do we get it? Probably not. Um, I'm not even. I'm not sure, to be honest. I don't know where Shakur goes after this. Um,
It's only one
because
place to go for both of
if
them.
if Tank is out the picture and Keyshawn is out the picture,
Yep, that's it. All right. Right here, round three. We the main event. We got exactly what we wanted again, bro, and that is a great fight. Regardless, we both chose. You chose Beterbiev by knockout. I chose him
mhm.
by decision, but we both 1,000% understood Bivol was going to come in with a chip on his shoulder, and he was going to try to win this fight. And guess what? He took that fight.
Yes, he did.
He took that fight, man. I can't say anything about the grit and the heart of Bivol. It
That
was absolutely magical.
that man mouthpiece might have a hole in it because he bit down and he was grinding for that.
Woo, he was
He was
chewing teeth
grinding
to
for
teeth
that.
for sure. It was easy teeth to teeth going on over there.
Hey man, when you could tell the switch from when he got confidence and he started letting his hands go. Some of them
Oh
combos he
yeah, he
was
was
throwing,
flying, dog. He was flying, dog.
he
That
was
thing was flying.
he was in front of the guard. He was around the guard. I'm like, damn.
Yeah,
I know
dog.
better be like, God damn.
Hey, bro, I didn't. Hey, hold on. You wasn't doing this like that the first time. You got a few of them off, but you ain't get this many. You know. Now, Bivol did win. We're not arguing against that. One judge had it a draw, which, hey, bruh, I'm not arguing you either on the draw either. Because it was 7-5 in my book. So you would have told me a draw, I would have said cool. Now, Everybody's looking for the trilogy, but Beterbiev's post-fight comments are a little interesting.
Hey man, like we
They
said,
asked him about a
Beterbiev is
trilogy, and he did not want to do the second one.
Beterbiev is 40. That
Ooh,
man might not want to fight no.
because he's not going up in weight. He's not going to cruiserweight.
Nope.
He's a career 175.
And it's only really for him. It's only two opponents that make sense. The one he just fought and David Benavidez.
And then the one everybody saying the one. I mean, he can go fight Morrell, but for what reason?
And
You
he
know,
can't get Benavidez right now because he'd have to fight the third fight. So it wouldn't make
correct,
sense. And he would have to win, and then he would have to fight him. So that makes him 41, 42, depending on how long it takes.
correct. So yeah, I don't see it. You know, he's already had knee injuries and surgeries already. I think he's ready to go home. And
Yeah.
we are. And if he does go home, kudos to him, and I
Great career.
appreciate great career. You can't you 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 can write a storybook ending that perfect of a career. I knocked out everybody I got in the ring with besides this one man, and I beat him. I became undisputed, and I lost the fight to him, and that's it. So kudos to that man. Thank you for the great career. Thank you for all the highlights.
And
Appreciate it.
they said he's a lawyer or something. Hey
Oh
man.
yeah, he's done. All right, so next episode of we just wrapped up, as y'all know, the fight or whatever, blah blah blah, and all that stuff. The February 22nd Saudi card. I got uh Zach Spiller in here with us. So Zach is a professional fighter. Obviously, that's what we want. Ain't no fans of us about it. He's a professional fighter. He is a fantastic heavyweight who has been in the ring with some of your favorite heavyweights. I think y'all seen him before the episodes before. So let's get straight into it. Zach, what did you think about Ajit and Zom?
It actually kind of played out how I expected it to. The only thing that kind of caught me off guard is that Zhang started out a little fast. I think he wanted to get him out of there quickly. But one, I thought it was an excellent fight. Ajit did what, he's been showcasing since he was introduced to the world through Riyadh season. And, I've heard stories about how intense he is even just in sparring and how he fights and Riyadh season was my introduction to him. And I feel like he's the real boogeyman of the heavyweight division, honestly, because the way he fights, he's very tough, very active. He works the body like crazy, and that's just a nightmare for a lot of heavyweights. So I thought it was a great fight, entertaining fight, and I expected Ajit to pull that one off.
Yeah, I just don't think we expected it to end the way it ended. I can't say. I mean, I chose him to win. I just didn't expect him uh, to win in that fashion.
Right.
Moving on to the next heavyweight fight, your friend, your homie, your sparring partner, Joseph Parker.
Mm-hmm.
People are going to look at that fight and say, "Oh, Bacoli came in on such a short notice." But explain to us about being a heavyweight, and two, that punch landing on top of the head.
Honestly, that shit, I didn't even see the shot necessarily laying on top of the head. I just seen him come up, like pop up, and his legs was gone. But
Yeah,
you get hit on top of the head, it might not even be the hardest punch. You might not even feel it, but them legs will go. And honestly, my just opinion on the fight in general, like a risky fight for Parker to take just because, the name that, Bacoli carries now for what, his fight with Jared. And he's
mhm.
just a huge guy, a big puncher. But with it being on 2 day notice and him getting there maybe 12 hours before the fight started, for a guy that I know was well prepared for this fight, it's
Right.
just a big risk to take, man. And honestly, I don't feel like the loss hurts Bacoli, but I just don't
Yeah,
feel like it was necessary. I don't feel like it was a necessary fight to have, man. I feel like
I
they
can
could
hear
have
you
got,
there.
yeah, like I feel like they could have got one of the other guys that they were talking about him fighting to do it. And, I think Parker would have pulled it off regardless. But hopefully, Bacoli, he goes back, gets in the gym, and gets ready for his fight with FA and Jogba in May if they still go through with that fight.
Man,
That's
that's one thing we said on the last episode is like Bacoli didn't have to take this fight. Like if I was him, I don't think I would have took the fight. But one thing I want to ask you, Zach, for me, you can answer too.
Hmm.
You guys have been in the ring, so from a fan perspective, is there at any point in time, regardless if it's a fill-in fighter or last minute replacement, if you train for a 12-round fight, are you disappointed that it ends in round 1 or 2 at any point? Is there any disappointment in that?
Hell no.
I would say, me personally, I'm not going to be disappointed. I want to get you out of there early. I prefer to have an early night, but but the thing is, though, you're preparing for anything to happen. So you need to be ready to go 12. But if you can get them out of there early, that's, it makes it even sweeter. But, at the end of the day, you just need to be ready for whatever comes your way. And that's just a part of being a professional athlete and a part of being an elite athlete.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
I'm never mad about how much work I do for game day, and then the game is over early. Fam, awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, bro. Like, don't get me twisted. Like, because it's the end of the game. Because it's the end of training. The fight is nothing but the end of training at that point.
Mhm.
So it's like, bro, I've done all this training to get to this training moment, and it's just like it's finally over. Thank God I can finally rest. So like,
Right.
yeah, bro, I can. Yeah, that's the end of training. That means training is done at that point. Training people talk about training being done when the fight starts or the day of the fight. No, training is done when that fight is over. Because I'm still in this ring having to go perform the same things that I have been performing this whole time leading up to it. So yeah,
Correct.
early night, nah, count me in every time.
Hey, for sure. Definitely.
Every time. Only difference is I get a few more foods after that point. That's about it.
All
But
right.
other than that, out of the whole fight card, while I got you here, so for the whole fight card, real quick, what do you rate the fight card? Like on an A, B, C, or D? What do you give it from that point?
As I was saying when I first jumped in, it's very rare that you have cards on that look great on paper live up to the hype. And I feel like this card overall lived up to the hype, man. There's a lot of great entertaining fights. Um, had a couple suspect calls in there, with the way that it went. But overall, man, like I was entertained, man. I feel like the boxing trains be entertained, but I'll give it an A.
Yeah.
Like it was entertaining, man, and you got to see so many different styles of fighters. You got to see some of the a ton of great fighters that would normally headline all through the card. So I
Yeah.
mean, there's nothing to complain about, man. The only thing we can complain about is how the decision was made between Adamas. And of course, fans are going to complain about Shakur's style and whatnot, but I thought Shakur looked great. I thought he went
He
out
was
there and did what he was
fantastic.
supposed to do. Yes, and he just looked like he hurt his hand, and he just don't happen to have crazy knockout power. But if it comes down to it, man, if there's only one thing missing from him, it is a what if. But if he had punching power, he'd be the biggest problem in boxing.
Yep.
Like
Without
he would be the biggest problem in boxing. He's so sharp. His range control was amazing. So you have to really know what you're looking at to be able to appreciate Shakur. Yeah, it might not be the most entertaining, fun thing to watch for most fans, but I thought he did great. But overall, great card overall. We had another close fight in the main event. I thought Bivol took it. I think Bivol should be 2-0, but we can't go back in time. But great card, great fight, and I'm looking to see what they put up next.
absolutely. Once again, Zach Spiller, heavyweight fighter. Appreciate you, my boy.
Yeah, appreciate y'all having me on, man.